This is going to be a look at the impact that Demarcus Robinson is having for the Baltimore Ravens offense in the first half of the 2022 season. 16 catches, only one touchdown. If you listen to my channel much or you watch the videos and listen, you know that I don't evaluate players just on stats alone. It is an element, it is a factor, but there's many factors that determine whether or not a player has great stats. And sometimes a player can have great stats for 2 or 3 games and then disappear, depending on if they're being double teamed or the scheme that they're seeing. Demarcus Robinson, 16 catches, like 154, 152 yards receiving, one touchdown. Doesn't sound like a whole lot of impact through 9 games. Had a great impact in the Tampa Bay Bucks game, and he was actually not supposed to. He was questionable, I believe, whether or not he was going to play, and thank goodness he did. 6 catches, 64 yards. His best statistical impact, but he could have had more statistical impact in this most recent game against the Saints. I offer to you that is it? I don't care if he's a number 1, number 2, number 3 receiver. I don't care. He's effective. He's done a nice job against zone, particularly. A little bit less so against man. I do find it interesting that Demarcus Robinson played so spectacular in that preseason game, and some people were excited, as well they should have been. And then there were other people who were like, "Oh, he's just doing that in the preseason." I think there's some truth to that second part, but it's a little bit pessimistic if you ask me. And we now have evidence that Demarcus Robinson can play. I mean, I intend to show you that with the film and hopefully convince you that there's a potential for more impact in the second half of the season. I can only show you the end zone angle of his one and only touchdown this year. It's against the Dolphins. A really nice route out of a bunch to the left. I can't show you the whole thing, obviously. The All-22 has been used by the NFL YouTube channel, but he's beating the Dolphins in man for a touchdown in the end zone, as the Ravens took a huge lead there. Demarcus Robinson has more lively legs, more speed than people think. This is a missed opportunity for him down here at the bottom of the screen, Week 9 against the Saints. Cool little concept by the Ravens. It's out of 21 personnel. The Ravens use 21 personnel to go spread sometimes. And you can see that we've missed Demarcus Robinson on a touchdown, potential touchdown here. He'd have to catch the ball, obviously, on an overthrow by Lamar. Let's back it up a little bit and talk about what the Ravens are doing. Again, you've got this later developing. I can't draw the route up exactly because I'm running out of screen there. It is 21 personnel. That's a tailback, and there's Ricard, and then there's a tight end. So it's twin slot with the tight end and the fullback into the boundary, presumably away from the nickel defender who would normally be to the field. Ravens use twin slot a lot. I like the route concepts. They're bringing Likely back in here to the middle. He's wide open, obviously. Duvernay is trying to hold this safety, which he does, and then Demarcus Robinson runs right past into that open space, makes himself available. If you had the end zone angle, you'd see that it was, pretty high throw, wide open. So another opportunity for a touchdown. I'm not here to denigrate Lamar. I'm just showing you that Demarcus Robinson has had opportunities to make other plays. It just hasn't happened through no fault of his own. Against the Giants, it's a double move on a 1st and 10 early in the game. If Lamar had more time, it's a bad pass pro scheme. If Lamar had more time, he would have been able to get the ball to Demarcus Robinson. Now, at the end of this play, and I intend to break it down again, you can see Demarcus Robinson's pointing this way like, Lamar, you throw that ball over there and it's a touchdown. And he's right. He wasn't being rude about it. But it's a poor protection scheme on the front side. I think you got Kayvon Thibodeau, and they're pass proing him with a tight end, Josh Oliver. And if they're able to slow down that edge rusher at all, you'll see that this double move by Robinson has the safety beat easily, and I think that's where Lamar's trying to go with the football. He being Lamar, is just such an aware player. He seems to know that there is an edge rusher attacking him from the backside. That's the only thing I can think as to the reason why he's not throwing this ball over the top, because this safety is flat-footed. I don't think he's trying to come back to Mark Andrews over here. I think he actually knows that there was edge pressure from the left-hand side. Don't ask me how he does. Now, having said that, that's no fault of Lamar. Like, this ball has to be thrown in this direction. This safety is beat badly. He was already beat. This ball is thrown in a manner that Demarcus Robinson has to slow up, and it allows the safety to recover. Again, I'm not here to disrespect Lamar, but it's just a fact. That should have been a touchdown. Either on the first part of the play concept with actual good pass pro on the backside, allowing Lamar to get it to Demarcus Robinson on the double move, or this here, the extended play to the left, which is, a thing that Lamar is incredible at, and then actually being able to throw the ball probably somewhere around in this area, the left side of the end, Demarcus Robinson run onto it, make the catch easy. You can see, hopefully, that he should be able to have at least 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 at this point, possibly even a 4th from the Saints game. And hopefully, the way I carry myself with the breakdown here, you understand I'm not, again, I'm not going out of my way to denigrate Lamar, but it's just a fact. Those throws are on film. I just showed it to you. All right, defensive pass interference early in the season, it was like this was the biggest impact that he had in terms of big plays. Andrews sitting this route down to try to draw the corner, and this little, post corner by Robinson. I think if the safety doesn't interfere, that Sauce Gardner has it covered because he's just that good. You see what I mean? Now, hopefully the video isn't as grainy for you guys as it is on my source screen. It looks pretty grainy for me. You can see it's clear interference on the safety, but Ahmad Gardner's there to cover it. So we got lucky there, if you ask me, from a Ravens standpoint, getting a pass interference call for a 32-yard gain, when really Ahmad Gardner would have been in position to defend it, if not possibly intercept it. If you don't know, one back, when the Ravens have one running back in the backfield and the fullback is lined up as a tight end, in this case Ricard is as a tight end, is a play-action formation. These teams in the NFL keep falling for it, or at least not recognizing it. The good teams do. Generally the Bills do. But you can see clear interference. So from a Demarcus Robinson standpoint, at least he's making himself available. Let's start to talk about some intermediate or short routes. Generally going to be snag flat. Snag flat. Running back here is going to motion to the left. Snag flat is usually something like that. All right, and I think that's what you're going to see on this play. Good hands. Rainy day here against the Bills. Great hands, sure-handed catching the football. I say that 29 targets to get his 16 catches. So it's not like, it's 16 catches on 22 targets. I think you're seeing some of the reasons why. There's times where there's poor pass pro. There's times where Lamar, for whatever reason, isn't able to get him the ball. Even on a rainy day like that, catching the ball with his hands out in front, protecting it. Solid veteran receiver. I think he's had an impact for the Ravens. A curl flat this time. So Ricard is lined up as the tight end down here to the bottom in this empty set. And then Robinson's going to run like just a little curl. This outside backer leaves Ricard, doesn't respect him at all. I mean, I understand that. Tries to stay with Demarcus Robinson. He can't. Nice catch over the middle for a 15-yard gain on a 3rd and 5. I think that's the one thing that I've noticed is that Lamar seems to trust him on these 3rd downs. They trust Duvernay as well. I think that as the Ravens get forced into certain passing situations more, against the good defenses, I think Demarcus Robinson, Devin Duvernay are going to have opportunities to make these plays, specifically against man. This is like a little delay slant by him, and it's an obvious pass interference call. If you're a Bills fan and you're watching this, don't get offended. It just is. It's just contact before the ball arrives. Demarcus Robinson is available. Lamar's getting rid of the ball. It's clearly contact before the ball gets there. It's not even close. The ball was not tipped. You'll get the end zone angle here in a moment to see that and confirm it. Should have been called. Demarcus Robinson really can't believe that it wasn't called. Neither can I. All right, there he is in motion going across left to right. He's going to be manned up by Poirier, however you say it. You can see the inside release by Likely. Opens up that side of the field, and Lamar trusts him to make the catch if he's not, interfered with or collided early. I think that Demarcus Robinson is capable of making these plays on third downs. He really showed it in the Tampa Bay game. Although some of the catches were early, there was some man coverage. And look, these situations against the Bucs, he's being covered by a hell of an athlete. Zion McCollum, his RAS score, whatever that stands for, I can't remember. I know it's got something to do with athleticism, was incredibly high. Now, this is another snag flat on the backside against a cover 2. Let it run 2 or 3 times, and I'll slow it down here for you so you can see it. I explained it the first time I showed this one. The running back is going out into the flats. Demarcus Robinson's running a little slant. I think he turns it into a slant because he recognizes that it's cover 2. Whatever Lamar's reading, either the inside linebacker or and then once he's throwing it, he's reading the corner. So he's got 2 reads here. If the inside linebacker runs with the running back, then he knows, okay, I'm probably going to go ahead and throw this slant. He ends up throwing the slant anyway. The linebacker kind of sits, doesn't get any width at all, not saying that he should. I don't know what their coverage or what their teaching is. I don't know what they're teaching in their coverage, I should say. And Lamar smartly puts it like on the back shoulder, or really like the middle of the numbers, to keep Demarcus Robinson away from the inside linebacker. 14-yard gain on a 2nd and 10. Had a lot of impact in that Bucs game. This is one I think you're going to see 2 of these. One back under center, and he's off to the right. And I mentioned it earlier, this is a play-action formation for the Ravens. If you happen to be a fan of another team or someone who's going to play the Ravens, if you see this, meaning one back in the backfield, Lamar under center, this is a play-action formation a high percentage of the time. At some point, the Ravens are going to have to actually run to their left. They generally do this to their right, by the way. Okay, so they're generally faking the run action to the left, and then Lamar booting back to the right side. He's a right-handed quarterback. Makes sense. Demarcus Robinson running a short little route out into the flats. 8-yard gain, 1st and 10. Sure-handed guy. He understands how to get off and make you think he's moving vertical. Same thing. This is 4th possession of the season. Sorry, in the first week, they're going to motion Ricard across. Again, you're going to get run action here. Lamar, kind of a mesh or just play fake, I should say, and then boot back to the side and throw it out to Demarcus Robinson in the flats. Ahmad Gardner's got 2 routes he's worrying about. He's worried about Andrews running this type of vertical, so he's kind of got to let Demarcus Robinson get out into the flats. Easy completion, 11 yards on a 1st and 10. It's one of those things I think you could complete to any receiver on the Ravens roster. I think Demarcus Robinson is the guy for this because he's generally doing work as the X, meaning the backside guy by himself. Now that Rashad Bateman is out, he's generally playing the X. I think that Deshaun Jackson will have, some reps there as well. They're going to have to run this, either inside zone or some type of stretch to the backside at some point. This is the first time the Ravens lined up under center, one back in 2022. And it was play action. It's not like it was set up. And this is not just a Ravens thing. It's other teams that do this stuff too. They line up in a formation and go play action when they haven't shown a run play out of that formation. I just can't for the life of me understand. This is week 1, so I'm not blaming the Jets. I can't understand at all at this point when the Ravens go play in week 10 against the Carolina Panthers how we could line up in that formation. One back, 2 or 3 receivers to our right, Lamar under center, and an NFL defense not recognize it. All right, so similar concept here, except we're in the shotgun. 3rd possession against the Jets. It's a 2nd and 11. Demarcus Robinson's the only receiver on the field. We're going to run double outs over here to Ahmad Gardner's side. Speed out by him. We're really just isolating Ahmad Gardner. We're not reading him necessarily from a standpoint of attacking him man-to-man, but we're isolating him by running the tight end likely on another little out. That's why I call it double outs. And the speed out is being run by Robinson. So this nickel defender, which I think is Michael Carter II, is just being taken away from this play. He has no ability to defend this out. And then the cool thing about Demarcus Robinson is he can break tackles a little bit. He also did this in the Tampa Bay game one time, broke a couple of tackles and scooted up the sideline for like 16 or 17 yards. I don't think for whatever reason I show you that play in this video, but I could be wrong. Short game, intermediate passes, I think, is where Demarcus Robinson probably is going to have the most impact for this Ravens team. Having said that, I think that he can do this as well. The speed maybe isn't there to beat people vertically, but this is late in the game. I think the Ravens' 10th possession. I think this is the possession where they go down and we end up not converting or failing on the 4th and goal from the 1 or from the 2, and then throwing the interception. The Bills go down and score. I think he can do this, though. This is Kaiir Elam, a rookie. An athletic guy. Now, this is a ball that's thrown short. It's not tipped. It's wet. Whatever the throw is. I really don't care. The point is that we're step for step here, but it's intentional from Demarcus Robinson's perspective. He's trying to put his body in a position where he can snap down and leave Kaiir Elam, and you can see he's done it. If we get a better throw, obviously we've got a catch along the sideline. I think he can do this. I think that Deshaun Jackson can do this. They're good route runners. They're guys who understand how to get even with someone, threaten them vertically, at least make them think they're going vertical, and then snap it back. Again, if you haven't noticed it already, look, one back in the backfield, Lamar under center, Fullback Ricard is not in the backfield. He's motioning left to right. Now, we do run sometimes when he's motioning left to right, but generally we do that when we're in the pistol. Lamar's clearly looking at Demarcus Robinson. Throws just a little low, obviously. Let me know what you guys see. Again, statistically, the impact is only 16 catches. So it'd be very easy for you to say, well, he sucks. He's not having a good season. No impact. Doesn't move the needle. Like, I'm just going to delete your comment if you type doesn't move the needle. I hate that shit. It's the most weak sounding phrase. Guy can make plays. This is a 2nd and 17, by the way. Guy can make plays. In off coverage like this, he's very sure-handed. The only play where I've seen him not make the catch was that one where Poirier for the Bills interfered beforehand. I think we got a good pickup here for the situation that the Ravens were in. Obviously, we would rather have Rashad Bateman back here as the X, right? He's a super talented guy. We as Ravens fans that have seen him play a lot, seen the film, we know what he's capable of. Other teams and other people might not be. But this guy's not a bad fill-in at all. I mean, I don't know how many catches he's going to end up with. I don't judge people's effectiveness based on their number of catches. It's the number of opportunities that they get. And the best 2 games in terms of opportunities was the Bucs and the Saints game. I already showed you, I think, 3 plays from the Saints game. Unfortunately, 2 of them, or 1 of them, we were unable to get him the ball. This is just a little check X out, meaning he's the backside X in a bunch set. So here's the bunch. It's man. We're just isolating him. And again, Zion McCollum he's an athlete. I don't know about his technical side to the game. I know Demarcus Robinson is trying to push him off here in terms of trying to get him off. But Zion McCollum's right there. I don't even think Zion McCollum really respects him, to be honest with you. And I think Demarcus Robinson gave him a little bit of trouble, for real, over there on that right side in Week 8. Little X in route. I think I showed you one of these earlier, but it was a little shorter. This is a 2nd and 13, Week 9 against the Saints. He's up there with Duve. It's a slot or nickel blitz, I should say. Great catch to get 12 yards. They're going to blitz. Actually, it's inside linebacker Werner. Duvernay's just going to sit into the open space. And Robinson's going to find the space in this area. And I think, make not a tough catch, but to make a catch in some traffic and then hold on to the football, get 12 yards, able to get us to a 3rd and 1. I think Ricard converted it with a fullback dive. I think he's playing hard. I think Demarcus Robinson's having more impact than the stats show. I would have loved for this pass to be completed. Again, like if you're watching my channel and you've got a problem with me like pointing out throws that Lamar misses, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, these things have happened, so it's a part of the game. Now, I think I said it also too in the video where I broke it down initially. Like 70% of the quarterbacks, maybe more in the NFL, maybe up to 80 or 90, they don't get away from this blitzing inside linebacker. So the play's dead already if your quarterback is, Matt Ryan. If your quarterback is Russell Wilson, at this age at least. If your quarterback is Aaron Rodgers, used to have great escapability. The play is over by most players with Demario Davis bearing down on them, basically a free run on a blitz. He's got 5 sacks this year, and by my tracking, 3 of them are on blitzes somewhat similar to this. So the play's over in most cases. Having said that, like Lamar's pissed at himself, he needs to make this throw. This throw is good. If he puts it on the money, Demarcus Robinson's going to catch it, turn upfield, and probably score. This is man here. His back is turned to the quarterback, guarding Drake. This is man. Duve is wide open. Okay, he just wasn't a part of the progression, or the pressure by Davis prevented Lamar from trying to get the ball to him. We're talking about right here with Duve, by the way. Just leaves this guy. So we've got opportunities to throw the football if we're not getting pressure in our face immediately. And then this one, obviously, it's unfortunate from a Demarcus Robinson standpoint. He'd like to get the ball delivered to him so that he can make a big play, possibly get another touchdown. You guys let me know what you think of his play so far this year. I think he's been a bigger pickup than we recognize, at least in terms of somebody who's reliable, who's in the right place he's supposed to be in, particularly as the backside X. It looks like he's more effective there. When he's the Z and we're under center, one back, it's almost always play action to his side. I think I showed you 3 of them, and then there's a 4th one that I think was incomplete earlier in the year that I didn't show. Let me know what you guys think of Demarcus Robinson's play. what you think his ceiling is in terms of impact for the Ravens, I think it's entirely possible that he scores 4 touchdowns the second half of the year. He could have 3 or 4 at this point already. He's got 1. I showed you 2 other misses, the one against the Saints. 2 against the Saints, I guess, technically, right? And then the one against the Giants on the double move when Lamar, there was pressure bearing down on him from the backside, and Lamar seemed to have some awareness of it. That's the only explanation I have for him not throwing the football over the safety's head, and then unfortunately, missing the throw, throwing it into open space for Demarcus Robinson. I think he's a smart guy, savvy. He's been around. Bigger pickup than we probably suspected at the time because we assumed that Bateman would be healthy, right? And we assumed that Andrews would be healthy. And here we've had some issues with both of them. Now, Andrews does have 5 touchdown catches. Bateman has 1, or 2, actually, I guess. And Demarcus Robinson only has 1 himself. Let me know what you think of Demarcus Robinson's play so far this year, what you think of my breakdown, the potential for him to have greater impact than just another 16 catches in the second half of the season.